So I've just been on LinkedIn looking at business analyst jobs. And one thing I've noticed is none of them explicitly asked for the BCS Foundation certificate. Not one. I'm going to show some of the jobs I looked at here, but none of them explicitly asked for the BCS Foundation certificate. So why do I keep telling people to get it? Let me explain. So I mainly looked at jobs from companies in London because that's where I'm based. But this was across different industries, different salary brackets, different seniority levels. Now, the pattern was the same. Obviously, they want experience, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years in some cases. They want you to be able to use specific tools like Jira, Confluence, SQL, Azure DevOps, and some want domain knowledge, whether that's banking, insurance, healthcare. One thing they don't say is BCS Foundation required. Some mention it as desirable, but from the jobs I looked at today, none of them mentioned it at all. So if you're sitting there thinking, if nobody's asking for it, then why am I studying for it in the first place? I can't lie, that's a fair question. So let me try to actually answer it. This is the thing that the job ads don't show you. Those roles requiring 2, 3, 4, 5 years of BA experience, they're not for you if you're trying to break in. You're not, and you shouldn't be applying for those roles. You're competing for entry level roles, graduate schemes, junior positions, the ones that say no previous BA experience required, will train you up, etc. Now, these roles do exist. They're just less common and they don't always explicitly say BCS Foundation required either. So here's what they do instead. They get 300 applicants. A recruiter's now going to sit down with a pile of 300 CVs and they've got maybe a day to cut it down to 20 for the hiring manager. So how do you think they're going to do that? They look for signals: degree, yes or no; experience, yes or no; relevant certifications. If you've got no BA experience, no degree in a related field, and no BA certifications, you're not going to be in that 20. You're in the 280 that's going in the bin. The BCS Foundation isn't what gets you the job. It's what stops you from being cut in the first round. Now, let's say somehow you actually get to the interview. Maybe you had a great referral. Maybe your CV was strong enough without the certification. The hiring manager asks you, how would you approach stakeholder analysis on a new project? Or what's the difference between a functional and non-functional requirement? Now, if you've studied the BCS Foundation, you're going to be able to answer those questions naturally, especially if you've recently passed it. You're going to use the right terminology. You're going to be able to reference the frameworks. You're going to sound like someone who knows the profession. If you haven't, you're going to sound like an idiot because ultimately you're just guessing. Now, you might be able to bluff through 1 or 2 or 3 of those questions, but when they ask you about Moscow prioritization or the POPIT model, and you've never heard of these things, or you're looking around, you're acting all shifty, you're done. They're going to move on to the next candidate. And the person who came in after you, who studied for 6 weeks and passed the exam first time, they're of course going to get the offer because they can answer those questions a lot more naturally. They know what they're talking about ultimately. The BCS Foundation certificate isn't a job guarantee. I'm going to keep saying that because too many people sell it like it is, and it isn't. What it actually is, it's the cheapest, fastest, most recognized way to prove you're serious about becoming a BA when you don't have business analyst experience. It's just over £200 for the exam, £40 for the textbooks, 4 to 6 to 10 weeks of your evening. Compare that to a £3,000 boot camp or a university degree. For a career changer that has no BA experience, it's the best return on investment available. For an experienced BA who's already in the job, obviously it's going to be useless. You don't need it because you already have what it signals. A lot of the things that they're asking people to do, stakeholder management, stakeholder analysis, capturing requirements, you've already done that. So it's not really that beneficial. So why bother? Because you're not trying to qualify for the jobs that don't require it. You're trying to qualify for the entry-level roles where hundreds of people are competing and recruiters are cutting and getting rid of CVs based on signals. So the BCS Foundation is one of the strongest signals you can add to your CV for under £500, under £300 if you're that way inclined. Now, most jobs don't explicitly require it, but the people who get the jobs have it. That's the gap that the job ads don't show you. I'm going to say that again because it's important. Just because the jobs don't explicitly say it's needed, the people who are getting these roles, like myself, ultimately have it. And that's the gap that the job ads don't show you. If you want to see whether you passed the BCS Foundation exam right now, I've got a free readiness quiz. It's 10 questions, takes about 5 minutes, and it will tell you exactly where your gaps are. The link is in the description. That's it for now. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.